You are the father of Jane and Michael Banks, are you not? I said you are the father of Jane and Michael Banks.
Well, yes, of course. You brought your references, I presume. May I see them?
Oh, I make it a point never to give references. A very old-fashioned idea to my mind.
Is that so? We'll have to see about that then, won't we?
Now then, the qualifications. Item 1, a cheery disposition. I am never cross. Item 2, rosy cheeks. Obviously. Item 3, play games all sorts. Well, I'm sure the children will find my games extremely diverting.
Now, this paper, where did you get it from? I thought I'd tore it up.
Excuse me. Item 4, you must be kind. I am kind, but extremely firm. Have you lost something?
Ah! Yeah, that paper, you see. I thought that I...
You are George Banks, are you not?
What?
And you did advertise for a nanny, did you not?
George Banks.
Very well, then.
I tore it up, turned it over, tore it up again, threw it in there. Yeah.
I beg your pardon, are you ill?
I hope not.
Now, about my wages. The reference here is very obscure.
Very obscure.
We must be very clear on that point, mustn't we?
Yes, we must indeed.
I shall require every second Tuesday off.
Every Tuesday.
On second thoughts, I believe a trial period would be wise. I'll give you 1 week. I'll know by then. I'll see the children now. Thank you.
Welcome back to the show, everyone.
Welcome back. We have a really fun movie and a great guest today, Pete.
Absolutely. I'm very excited to talk about this movie. This movie has been with all of us our entire lives.
Oh, most definitely.
Absolutely. My name's Pete.
And I'm Scott, and these are the movies that made us gay. Very special guest today, Daniel Franzese. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Here I am, practically perfect in every way.
Exactly.
Absolutely. What a perfect guest for the show.
What a
for this.
perfect guest. A great movie. We watched Mary Poppins, directed by Robert Stevenson, released August 27th, 1964, premiered at the Mann's Chinese Theater. Mary Poppins.
All right.
A movie that I've definitely wanted to get to on the show, but have never had the right... It was never quite the right moment or the right guest.
Yeah.
And
sometimes
then,
the timing, everything just aligns for a good movie.
Yeah.
I mean... The thing about this one is we usually start the episodes with, like, when do you first remember seeing this movie? Did you see it in the theater? Like, who did you go with? This is one of those ones that it's just like, you always remember it.
It's just always there.
Yeah. Like, you can you remember the first time you ever saw it? Like, I don't know.
I don't know about the first, I think free Disney Channel previews.
Right.
Sure.
Hi, I'm Nancy, your operator here at the Disney Channel.
Oh, yes.
Not Nancy.
What could you
This
get?
week, we're going to be showing Mary Poppins.
Oh,
What
my God.
what were they always wanting to hawk to get the Disney Channel? Was it the phone?
A tote bag?
Was it the Mickey
Oh,
phone?
A Mickey
I don't know. Nothing that good.
Yeah, I
it was
don't
like a
think it
tote
was-
bag. I think
yeah.
it was more in the tote bag genre.
Yeah, I think a Mickey phone was like
And 2
way
free
too
tickets
nice.
to Disney World.
Oh, well, that's like... Well, at Disney World in like the 80s, tickets were probably like $12.
Well, I also lived in Florida, so it was like we
you
got to go, every couple of years with school.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. That's nice. See, I grew up here in Southern California, so we went with school to Disneyland. So we
Right.
went all the time, which was great. But yeah, I also don't really have a memory of kind of seeing it first. But what I do have a memory of is that when we were really little, we had a cassette tape of just Disney songs, and like one whole side was just Mary Poppins.
I do know that we did a play in like elementary school, my graduation of kindergarten.
All right.
And we did a chimney chim number. So,
Right.
like, I must have had a very early knowledge of
yeah.
Mary Poppins. It's
Yeah.
always just been there.
We're going to talk about Chim Chim Tree later on.
I think
but
Mary
mean-
Poppins is the reason that I'm a Mary, the reason I do poppers, and also the reason I'm a top in the bag. So, I don't know. Like, maybe it did make me
man.
gay.
That's amazing. Scott, what about you?
I remember family movie night with my mom and my sister that we would like lay down a blanket in our TV room in our basement. And I remember we had this on video. We had probably one of the first big VHS releases of the 80s.
Right.
That's the thing about VHS that people who did not grow up with it do not know.
Yeah.
But if you had one, you saw that movie 50,000
Oh,
times.
yeah. But I think that we had one of the first major releases on home video with it.
Was it one of the big clamshell?
It was one of the
Disneys?
big clamshells.
That you can now use as like a lunchbox.
Yeah.
I was looking on eBay, and the prices weren't that bad. They were $10 or $12, which I kind of thought they might be more.
Sure.
But yeah, and it
Yeah,
was
you thought like, okay,
and it was one of the ones from the 80s. So
Everyone's like seeing it.
Yeah.
yep.
Own it. Don't need it. Got it on Blu-ray.
But sometimes you never know. Like
No,
you
yeah,
see those
yeah.
you see those BuzzFeed articles of this copy of Beauty and the Beast is going for $300.
yeah.
Right, but that's because like the Beast has his lipstick showing by accident on the cover. They kind of, it's like some kind of like discrepancy.
Yeah.
They wrote 1987 instead of 88, and the
Oh,
publishing
see,
date.
there you go.
And the publishing date on the back says.
I mean, don't mess with me. I have my Captain Picard action figure that has no gray hair painted on the
Okay,
sides.
see?
And I saved
That's
that
it.
bitch.
It's
I
the
saved that
mistakes.
bitch. He's bald, but he's not that bald.
Forget that the whole 80s was a mistake.
I mean, yeah.
Now,
yeah.
we have to look for the mistakes within the mistake.
This is true. You know what's wild? I was thinking about. I heard somebody just talking about like, Blockbusters being gone and video rentals and all that stuff, and they just kind of offhandedly mentioned like VHS as a medium was only around for 20 years, and I was like, that can't be.
Oh, wow.
right. That can't be right.
I mean, DVD's been around since
I mean,
the late 98, 99.
TW, trigger warning. I worked at Blockbuster.
so did I.
I could smell, every time someone says Blockbuster, I smell it.
Yeah, I mean,
It's like popcorn and depression
absolutely.
in rainy days.
Yeah. Same here. But it's like once DVDs came around, like VHS players. See, I'm even saying it. I hate when people say VHS players.
You're turning
because
into a young person
it's
now.
VCR, first of all.
A VCR.
Yeah, but VCRs kind of became obsolete so fast. DVDs, you can still kind of play in your PlayStation or whatever. You know what I mean? You could still use
It
a
still
DVD.
fits to newer formats. Yeah.
But VHS was just like, once you got rid of that VCR,
That's why you had to
can't
get.
do
That's
shit
why you
with
had
it.
to get
Did
the
you guys
combo
have that
player.
guy in your neighborhood that taped everything? Like he thought he was like, is that you?
My dad.
It was your dad? Yeah. There was like a dude in my neighborhood. He had like everything taped. Like he just boom to boom, like and then labeled everything. And he thought he was like
My dad.
a historian. Yeah.
Yeah, you can either have two VCRs and daisy chain them together, or you can get your camcorder and daisy chain it to the VCR. Oh. So you're playing it on one and recording it on the other. And
That was like rich people stuff. We didn't have that.
It's
Yeah.
very illegal.
Oh yeah, the warnings at the beginning.
Absolutely.
You wouldn't download a car.
Yeah. So that was my dad. And so I was like, for a while, I was like, yeah, man, he's like loves cinema. Like he's just trying to get all these movies and like blah, blah, blah.
That's vibes.
But you know what, though? He was doing it on that like ultra fast because he was jamming 3 movies on one tape.
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
So
That's going to
the-
be pretty shit
so
quality.
the quality was garbage. But I got to watch like Bachelor Party at like 8 years old. And then right afterwards, like something else completely inappropriate.
I always remember my double feature of Overboard and Lost Boys.
Oh, yeah.
That I still
Okay.
think of them together to this
Yeah,
day
they go
because
together.
of our tape.
Yeah. Was that from cable, though?
Yeah.
See.
And in our household, you could really tell when somebody had a premium cable subscription that they were getting HBO.
No commercials?
No commercials.
This might even
Yeah.
kill the conversation, but you might know. There was that 80s movie where like the old lady sat on the chair and farted while the guy's head was under the sand on the bottom.
Oh, God damn it. I know the scene.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
And I can't think of the
And
movie.
also
Yeah,
in
yeah.
that same movie, they said, don't make a funny face because if someone slaps you in the back, your face sticks like that, and the kid's face is stuck like that.
One Crazy Summer.
One Crazy Summer was my jammed onto a
Yeah.
tape movie.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, and that's the thing. Like, we had these...
We borrowed that from the guy who did all the videos and never returned it.
Oh, see?
Yeah, we were like, that was like, he had too many. He didn't know.
Now
He
what
didn't
would
need it.
now
He
what
was
would
slipping.
now what would like Mary Poppins double or triple feature be?
I mean,
Bed knobs and
Bed
broomsticks.
knobs and
Yeah.
broomsticks, and I always think it's fascinating.
Chitty
of-
Chitty Bang Bang.
there you
yeah,
go. That's
just
a good 3.
Those 3
3-pack.
movies. I mean, the Sherman Brothers did the music for 2 of them. Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, I don't think was Disney, right?
Chitty Chitty Bang Bang was Disney.
Oh.
It was Disney.
It was
Okay.
Disney, I think, and I was obsessed with it. Bedknobs and Broomsticks completely went over my head.
Cultural
blip.
I
Never
love
really
Bedknobs
seen
and
it.
Broomsticks.
Okay, yeah.
Never really watched it.
I mean, I hate to pit the two against each other because we don't need to pick favorites between those two movies.
Yeah.
But I think there's something about Bedknobs and Broomsticks that returning to it as an adult, I think I gravitate a little more to, just because with age, I feel like we can just sort of relate to the Angela character in that.
I will say the songs are less catchy. There's definitely less of them than Mary Poppins, but I do agree, just like hating children and wanting to live on your own in your like thatch roof cottage in the English
Sounds
countryside.
like a great life to me.
Yeah, with your cat. I'm just like, I'm down. Yeah, fuck the town, fuck the neighborhood. Oh, World War II's going on.
You get to
Fuck
ride
them
around
kids.
town on a fucking bike.
Fuck the police.
Fuck them kids. They don't need to stay with me. Yes, they do, Miss Price. Their parents are most likely dead.
Most likely dead, yeah.
Where Chitty Chitty Bang Bang had Benny Hill as a toy maker.
Did not. Oh my God.
Yes, as a toy maker trying to save the kids from pedophilia. That crazy man with the big nose
man
that's
with
like,
the big-
children, I smell children.
The child snatcher?
Yeah, he was
Yeah, the kid snatcher. What is that his
Mm-hmm.
name? Yeah.
Oh, I have some news for you. Released by United Artists, so it was MGM. So I take it that it was probably just kind of capitalizing off of the wild success of Mary Poppins. Because here's the thing. This movie, Mary Poppins in 1964, made over $102 million. With inflation, that's almost $1 billion. That was
Wow.
It was one of the biggest movies of all time. I mean, definitely the most successful for the studio.
Yeah.
The musical was good too.
Oh, sure. We
I saw it. I liked it.
Okay.
It was really good.
We were supposed to see the musical when it was at the Almondson, but my tire fell off my car. Do you remember
That's
that?
where we were going?
We were supposed
Oh,
to see Mary
yeah.
Poppins that night.
Tire fell off your car. Thank you,
Quite
Pet Boys.
literally. Thank you,
Yeah.
Pet Boys.
They did us dirty.
It's okay.
that day.
It's not your fault. I
Yeah.
probably should have.
No,
Yeah.
no, you shouldn't have. That was Pep Boy's fault. Absolutely. Don't give me that. No, we didn't get around to seeing the musical, but the crazy thing, well, not the crazy thing about this movie, but it's like it was kind of like it dominated that year, right? Like, I mean, Best Actress, like it was.
Well,
It
I
was
mean,
huge.
this is also the year of My Fair Lady. That My Fair Lady ended up winning Best Picture. I mean,
Which does not hold up.
No,
I mean,
I just saw the musical.
Yeah.
They redid it or whatever, and it was horrible. I was
Oh,
like,
no.
I was just like, what is this about? This man's horrible. This woman's horrible.
And-
this whole thing's horrible. And
Yeah.
they're horrible to each other.
yeah.
And you know the whole connection with Julie Andrews in My
Yeah.
Fair Lady is that
Was.
she was in the Broadway production of it. Jack Warner, when he bought the film rights to it, didn't want to cast Julie Andrews because she had never made a major movie before. He wanted a movie star, so he chose to cast Audrey Hepburn instead. So that sort of freed Julie up to make Mary Poppins,
Yeah.
and Disney swept in and was like, "You can do this movie instead of My Fair Lady." And
she got her Oscar.
And she got the Oscar. And Audrey was not even nominated.
Wow.
I tend to agree with you about My Fair Lady. I watch it and I'm just like, he's awful.
Yeah, just
He's
an awful
terrible to
human
her.
being.
Yeah, and you're right. They're terrible to each other. I mean, God love her. I love Audrey Hepburn. You know, legacy, whatever. She is like whines and cries in this movie. And I'm
It
just
just doesn't hold up for me.
stop.
When you listen to the Julie Andrews recording, we have it on vinyl. It's
Yeah.
pretty rocking.
I
It's
mean,
pretty great.
it's that Julie Andrews like.
And it's just like, what
Voice.
the fuck, Jack Warner? Just like, you kind of fucked up
yeah.
with
But-
all of that.
Yeah.
I have to reevaluate my life because I don't even think I have a friend that would like play that like on vinyl. Like I need
Right.
I need to hang out with you guys more.
We've got it.
That sounds kind of a nice life.
Yeah.
Just sitting around, you know, sipping tea, listening to My Fair
honestly,
Lady.
honestly though, like
You know,
not mad at it.
it's a Tuesday night around here, but you know, it's we know the road to making Mary Poppins was
Sure. I mean,
long.
Disney had been trying to get these rights since the 40s because his daughter loved the book and
Right.
really wanted his dad to make a movie of this.
Right.
And especially for the 40s in Disney, that they did not foray into live action all that much.
I need a daddy that'll make me an Amelia Bedelia movie. I've been waiting. I've been waiting.
Netflix or Hulu needs to get on that shit.
How have they
I
not
looked
picked
it up.
Amelia Bedelia?
I looked it up. Tom Hanks owns the rights.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All right.
the
Playtone.
Playtone owns the rights. Because I
Interesting.
was like, ooh, like give me like an Amelia Bedelia movie
Right.
starring Aubrey Plaza. I know. I'm a genius.
God.
I'm a genius. I know. I'm aware.
Seriously, come on. Hollywood, is that Showbiz on the phone?
And he kept checking with P.L. Travers, who wrote the book, and she was very anti any film adaptation, and he finally got the rights from her, I think in the late 50s, when I think sort of her book sales started to dwindle.
That was my first drag name, Auntie Annie film adaptation.
Okay, all right. Welcome to the stage.
But you can also go and watch Saving Mr. Banks.
I like
if you
Saving
wanna
Mr.
find
Banks.
the
I liked
backstory.
that. That was
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
The women's suffragette voting plot line was completely lost on me as a child. Like,
Sure. Yeah.
Sure.
I didn't get what they were talking about or
Same,
what was
yeah.
happening. It wasn't until I watched Saving Mr. Banks that I was like, oh, yeah, she was a suffragette. That was what was happening.
That's what that
It took a
neglectful
long
mother.
time. I mean, I probably watched it like 2 million times
Oh, yeah.
before that hit.
Also,
you just, as a kid, you just don't. We as American,
They could have
children,
explained it better.
They could have, yeah. Knowing this is an American movie, that
I
could
mean,
have
I
been a
feel
big
like
one.
it's whenever I watch this or While You Were Sleeping every December that Glynis John's still alive, almost 100.
Ugh.
wow.
Treasure.
And she
National
still has
treasure.
she still has that voice, that Winifred Banks high pitched.
Her last movie was Superstar. And she just pieced out.
Molly
Jane
Shannon.
and Michael Banks. Sorry, I had to do that at least some point.
No, you got it. You got to do it.
Made Superstar, and she's just like, I'm good here.
I'm done.
I'm done.
Retired.
Retired.
Okay. But yeah, Saving Mr. Banks is really fun. The scenes in Disneyland are great, magical.
Yeah.
We love it.
And-
Also love the real audio clips.
Yeah,
of
because she
the real
insisted
P.L.
on being
Travers.
very hands-on with the story.
Is this also one of the first times that they mixed animation with live action?
Probably. I mean, well, in a major movie.
I think that they had that Tom and Jerry dance with
Gene Kelly.
with Gene Kelly in Anchors Away,
I think it was Anchors Away.
and I think that was maybe the first.
Yeah.
But that was just a scene.
Yeah, and Disney, Walt Disney in the 30s was testing it out with some Alice in Wonderland style shorts, but they were short films. They were 3 minutes long.
And Song of the South was 1946,
Oh, yeah.
and they do something similar in that.
We forgot about that. We don't talk about
I
that.
know we don't like to talk about that, but yeah.
I think they
yeah.
tore that statue down at Disneyland.
But when we were rewatching and going through clips and watching the movie for a refresher, it's for the time period, this movie is this is the Avengers Endgame from 1964. It is chock
this shit was like
full.
Avatar.
It's so full of special effects.
Yeah.
It is just all those crazy inserts.
A lot of
them.
beautiful matte
Yeah,
work.
even the endless carpet bag where she pulls everything out. I was mesmerized by that
Yeah.
as a kid. I was like,
Yeah.
what is she? How the heck did she?
Absolutely, and the little bird outside that lands on her fingertip, and her her umbrella.
I did find it dark that when all the other nannies are in line in the beginning and they all get blown away.
Yeah.
I was like, where are they going?
Where are they going?
Do they land safely? Are we dealing with an Annabelle situation?
They're good.
And now when we watch it now, I'm trying to spot all of the guy stunt doubles.
Are there men
and
in
drag.
there? Yeah.
Is there
Oh,
men in there?
really?
I mean, I would think that there probably had to be.
You're right.
Because all these broads are up on wires and stuff, so probably more men were.
It's probably just the
adept at
chimney
it.
sweep guys again. They're just reusing them.
Which I would love, because the chimney sweep guys. There are few behind the scenes photos, but they're all dancer dudes.
Oh, yeah.
they're pretty.
Oh,
hot.
yeah.
They're covered in soot, but they're pretty hot. But that works too. I'll take a soot filled face.
Never need a reason, never need a rhyme.
I mean, Scott was thirsting over Dick Van Dyke the whole time.
I think he's pretty
movie.
cute. Dick
Yeah,
Van Dyke and
this
those
is
blue
like-
eyes.
This is very high dick
Yeah.
Van Dyke.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
just call me Dick.
peak,
High level.
peak Dick.
This is peak dick. Yeah.
And controversial. I know this is
But he's
regarded.
still hot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Now he's working bearded daddy.
Yeah.
I saw a picture of him. He looks 55.
He just has that youthful face. He absolutely looks 55.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And controversial. I know this is regarded as one of the worst movie accents of all time, but kind of does it for me.
It's
I think
funny.
it's charming.
It's charming.
Oh, I like his accent.
Yeah.
I like everything about Dick Van Dyke in this movie.
Yeah. Because you know what? It's a bad quote unquote accent, but it's not problematic. It's not like Mr. Yunioshi or anything. You know what I mean? It's not like,
yeah.
you know what I mean? Like British face. Who cares? They're white.
Yeah, no one cares. Yeah, I know. It's like Italians. Like nobody cares when they're racist against us.
Well,
like they're like constantly. It's like, hey, I'm a Mario, it's a me. And I'm like,
All right.
just as long as I'm there, represented.
As long as I can get a seat at the table. Yeah. But like we're saying, Dick Van Dyke, it's him. It's like he's just
he
supposed
adds a lot.
He has this reputation for being like one of the nicest people in Hollywood,
yes.
and it's like it must be true and real because he's still alive, still
And
looks amazing.
He's got the swagger, but no matter how swaggy he gets in anything, he still maintains vulnerability as his top note.
Yeah.
Like and I think that is something that's always made him such a star.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I remember thinking as a child that Julie Andrews in this was so beautiful as Mary Poppins. And our house was definitely Mary Poppins over Sound of Music.
I always think this debate is interesting.
Yeah.
What about you?
I never watched Sound of Music all the way through.
Yeah.
Like,
See, now I feel
again,
like
a cultural blip.
Yeah.
I feel like
same for me.
I kind of liked both movies pretty equally. It's hard for me to choose even today.
And as a little kid, I couldn't. Like, clearly, Mary Poppins is a wig.
It's a different vibe in Sound of Music too.
Yeah, but her look is so completely different as a small child.
Because she's blonde.
I couldn't wrap my head around that's Mary Poppins with that little like boy haircut and blonde. I was like, no, that's not Mary Poppins. I mean, it wasn't. It's Maria von Trapp. But yeah, we were a Mary Poppins house. We didn't really watch a lot of Sound of Music.
The more you talk about it, I feel like I'm more Dick Van Dyke than I was Julie Andrews. Like, because I carried on to Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, but I never went on to
Sound of Music.
Sound of Music, yeah.
And I know that she was offered bed knobs and broomsticks, and she turned it down.
Oh,
and
good,
then
good.
I think that she sort of went back and regretted it. Like, Disney's does such wonders for my career. Do I owe them this? And they had already cast Angela.
Okay.
Angela, who I think was considered for this.
For Mary Poppins.
Okay, so could you imagine this role, Angela Lansbury or Bette Davis? Could you see Bette Davis in this role? It would have been
Betty Davis?
of control.
Yeah.
Betty Davis as Mary
I was like,
Poppins.
yeah, I mean, definitely it would have been a different energy. She would have been a little scarier.
Yeah, definitely
Probably
scary.
a little more accurate to how she is in the book.
Well, if you look at Mary Poppins, she's not scary.
Right.
Oh,
Like, there's things about her that she's like,
a no bullshit type of
yeah,
woman.
there's things about her where she's like, I don't really think we're doing that,
Yeah.
And you're like, what do you mean? Like, or like where I can't recall the exact moment right now, but I almost feel like there's things where like, oh, don't worry, he'll be fine,
Yeah.
Like, and someone's like in peril,
Yeah, yeah. And like there's a scene where Mr. Banks, they come back from a day of craziness, and Mr. Banks is like, explain yourself. And she's like, let me tell you something. Yeah. I never explained myself.
Yeah, she Julia Sugarbaker's
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. And he's just like, oh,
Okay.
okay, I'm paying you, and this is my house, and they're my children, but go off.
I mean,
I also felt like I get that these are really bad parents. Like,
my God.
like Mr. Banks is so busy at work, blah 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 blah, dad of the house.
Yeah.
And the mom is like so dealing with the suffragette movement that she's not noticing anything. And their kids are like tripping in the woods.
Yeah.
Like,
I think that Katie Nana loses them 4 times in 1 week.
Poor Katie Nana. The mother, Mrs. Banks, leaves them with Bert, sight unseen.
Man that she doesn't even know.
No
a
reference.
dirty chimney sweep.
dirty-
Just like, oh, that'll work.
has no follow-up questions to the insanity that just happened at the bank.
Go with Bert. They'll have fun cleaning chimneys with you. What? On the roofs of London, falling down a pipe. Come on, like, no, she's awful. I mean, it's very like Carol Brady. Why do you need Alice? Like,
Sure. Why does she need?
Granted, Carol Brady had 6 children.
Why does she
6
need
is a
both
lot.
the housekeeper and the cook?
6 is a lot. You can have help.
Did Carol Brady have a career?
No,
No.
she did not have a
She
job.
just walked around all day.
Always a stay-at-home mom.
She was just drinking coffee and like.
She didn't even cook dinner though.
No, Alice made every now and then she helped make breakfast, but she barely did anything. Yeah,
Oh wow, I gotta think about that for a little bit.
she wasn't even like deep in like if you want to tie it to, Mrs. Banks. She wasn't even deep into like women's lib, like trying to burning her bra out there, like for the movement, ERA or whatever.
She was
equal
just
rights.
nurturing. That's really all she was.
Yeah.
Nurturing and like putting it down on Mr. Brady.
Yeah, definitely doing that. At least Mrs. Banks has a passion that she's it's a
For-
pet project.
Just to not get off the Brady Bunch just yet. First couple to be alone in a bed together on television.
I mean,
Is that so?
That is so.
I thought that was the Munsters.
No, they were the first couple to be in bed together.
Okay.
In the bed together.
All right.
Aren't there shots of Lily and Herman in bed together on the Munsters?
Scott's gonna die on this hill.
I know I'm right. I know I'm right about that. I don't know about Lily and Herman, but this is for sure.
And
maybe
they were-
first human couple.
Maybe first human color, all color. They were definitely in that bed several times. There's a lot of
Definitely
shots
one of the
them
first
just
shots of a toilet.
There's no toilet in the Brady Bunch.
There is no toilet.
No, there is no toilet.
Oh yeah, because that's a joke in the movie.
Yeah. There's no toilet in the kids have one bathroom for 6 children, and it's got a bathtub. No toilet.
They couldn't fit it in the shot.
No. But Carol Brady needed a pet project. She could have, if she was at least doing something for like the Equal Rights Amendment.
Maybe she was pooping and we just never saw those scenes.
There you go. And
She had IBS.
yeah, the one toilet that they had in the house was like out in an outhouse,
in
so
the
she
back,
wasn't in the house. Yeah, there you go. But yeah,
Not now, Alice.
busy Alice. Someone's in here. I mean, you can kind of say like, it's the early 1900s. Mr. Banks is not going to care for his children. 'Cause
Sure.
that's just the
Yeah.
culture
Sure.
of London or whatever at the time. We decided it was 1910.
1910, I think.
Yeah.
And they don't go to school.
I guess it's the governess teaches them.
Sure.
Okay.
Or maybe it's summer. No, it's not summer.
I mean, is it Mary Poppins' job? I don't know.
I don't know. Well, the other thing too was that there's a cook and a housekeeper. They both wear the same outfit.
I love those two characters.
But yeah, the housekeeper is like, no, bitch, I am not watching these children. I have enough feather dusting and like.
And then there's the neighbor with PTSD.
I was gonna say, picture frame straightening.
Some major war trauma.
Yeah. Let's let the kids go hang out with the war veteran.
There you go.
And the chimney sweep.
The war veteran would kind of probably entertain these kids. He'd give them some history lessons.
You give them something to do.
Yeah. He'd keep them on time. He's all about that stopwatch. He's like he's keeping that, That isn't the whole thing that like he does the cannon like once an hour.
What's his name? I keep saying Fred Gwynn, which is the dad of the Munsters.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But what's the guy's name is very similar.
Oh, the Mr. Banks?
No, the neighbor that's like, I
the
love
neighbor,
to laugh.
Oh, that's Edwin.
Edwin, loud and long and clear.
Voice of the Mad Hatter.
When he came on screen,
Yes.
I nearly
He's
died.
fantastic.
I loved it. I was
That
like,
song always brought me
yes!
so much joy.
Yeah, no, yeah, so good. And I just love that like this his whole persona, He did voices on, in other movies. He did the Mad Hatter.
Probably did radio work.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Never bothered changing his voice. That's just
That's just how he
You
talks.
get Edwin.
This is what you
Yeah.
get. I'm auditioning. Okay, so who am I playing? George Washington? Okay.
What's his type?
I can never tell a lie.
Absolutely. And Alan Tudyk in Wreck-It Ralph, he's pretty much doing
King Candy's pretty much
King Candy's
doing him, yeah.
Edwin, which is amazing, and I love that.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, he's like the main villain or whatever.
Right.
But yeah, that character. Oh my god, when that scene comes on, I was just like, "Fuck yes, this is so great."
That's interesting too that you're saying that another actor is channeling another actor. I was thinking about that recently. I don't want to say what it was, but I had an audition for an animated thing that was very famously done by another person, and I really just the whole time wanted who's no longer with us.
Sure.
The whole time I just wanted to do that same voice.
Yeah.
Like that happens often. That Polly, that bird movie with yeah, he did Buddy Hackett's voice for the bird.
Oh, isn't that Jay Moore?
Yeah.
Well, Jay Moore does a great Buddy
Jay Moore
Hackett.
does.
Yeah,
Really good Buddy Hackett. Yeah.
But it's interesting when people do that.
Yeah, absolutely. I would think too. If you were to get, famously on our podcast, we are fans of the Gus Van Sant Psycho.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unapologetic.
And it's that thing of like, are you going to channel, Anthony Perkins when you're doing this role? Obviously, Vince Vaughn did not. But, if you see something that's super famous, from a television show or whatever, and then you go and do,
You want to give it that energy.
yeah. Yeah, so I mean, I it's funny that we have thoughts on like the parents being like absentee and
But
just
it's also it's
terrible.
Written, it's written in the story. It's why they need Mary Poppins to
Yeah.
get their shit together.
yeah. And I think Glynis Johns, as we were talking about as missus Banks, she just is like she's just so beautiful and she has that teeny little lilting voice and like I can't hate her. I'm just
Yeah.
like, all right, Mrs. Banks, go do your thing. She's the suffragette movement is a good thing. She's trying to get women to vote. All right.
I have the same issue with Candy Azaria, the actress. Like she's in a couple things. She's in Easy Money and a couple. But there's a movie she's in called Fatso, and I don't like her in that movie. But she's got the cutest little baby voice, and I'm like, but I love her.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of forgiving.
Yeah, absolutely.
When when they're so cute.
Yeah. But Mary Poppins, like you're saying, she kind of there's a little darkness to her. And I love
Yeah.
that. I love that. And I've never read any of the books. Scott, have you read any?
No, I've never read them.
I don't know. But I just think that like it's nice that these kids are fascinated by her. They love her, but they should be a little scared of her.
She's got Willy Wonka energy.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Like when Willy Wonka's like, no, please don't stop. And like the girl's like gonna die.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
Oh, she might die. Mhm.
Yeah.
Like Mary Poppins would be the same. I could see Mary
True.
Poppins and Willy Wonka getting it on together.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Like, does Mary Poppins really like the Banks children? It's just a job
She
for
just
her.
puts up with them. I mean, she's only there for maybe a week and a half.
True.
And is she there for the money? What is
Yeah,
she there
right.
For
for the tuppence.
it's like she came in. I mean, it's just kind of interesting.
Yeah.
And she seems like she's doing pretty well.
Yeah. It is kind of odd at the beginning that she's like sitting on a cloud. That part I'm just like, what? Is
There
she a
you go.
stork? Is she
Yet
a stork?
again.
Is she a stork? What's happening?
What if she's just on psychedelics the whole movie, and that's like the secret point of it all?
Yeah.
And it never actually happened.
Yeah. Well, maybe we're just seeing her POV.
The Banks children are her fever dream.
And
I
like
love
when
it.
she's flying away at the end, she's being carried with like blue and red
The
lights.
stretcher.
And then she's just like,
She's always counted on the kindness of strangers.
and in her head, she's just slowly flying away with an umbrella.
Oh my god!
But then, like in real life, she's just like screaming, and there's an officer on each limb, and she's just like
it's fully just
being pulled into the paddy wagon.
just Nancy
Yeah.
at the end of the craft. I'm flying.
It could be.
Oh man! All right, okay. I like this alternate alternate reality. Mary.
Well,
Poppins.
we got Wicked. We might as well get like a dark Mary Poppins.
This is true.
If you did like a dark Mary Poppins, like that would be so good.
There's that trailer on YouTube, which is Mary Poppins is a horror movie. So
Oh, okay.
the material, I think, does
Yeah.
lend itself.
Yeah, it is kind of there. It is a little scary.
Well, we were talking too about Saving Mr. Banks and how Rachel Griffiths kind of plays the real quote unquote Mary Poppins
Australian Mary Poppins.
in P.L. Travers' like flashbacks.
It's based on her relationship with her father.
Yeah, and this woman, it's her aunt, it's her father's sister, comes to take care of her as the father's dying or whatever, and it's a very her like silhouette is very Mary Poppins-esque when you see it in the movie, and Rachel Griffiths plays her very kind of like very grim, very dour, and it's like okay, this is where she's building this character from. I like that.
And a lot of elements of the movie P.L. Travers did not care for. That she didn't care
She
for
didn't
the
want any
tone.
of the animation.
She didn't want any of the animation. She didn't like a majority of the songs.
Yeah.
She did have script approval, but I think Disney just ended up overriding her for all of it.
He said, okay, let's do it my way. I like the animation sequence. I like the stuff in the chalk drawing.
It's longer than I remember it being. When we were watching it yesterday, I'm like, oh, this is like a good 20 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
That's a lot of stuff from our childhood when things are just like longer. I watched
yeah.
I watched Money Pit last night.
Oh my God.
Which I love.
So
Yeah, I
good.
love it.
And it took like 40 minutes to get to the house. Like I was like, that just would not fly today.
You're like, isn't this about that?
Every time I ever pitch anything, they're always like, get to the place.
Yeah.
Like we need to get to the
Yeah.
action. Like, the audiences don't have time. We don't want to know about the exposition of the
Yeah.
characters. Let's just
Yeah.
like get them in the situation.
I mean,
Yeah.
this movie has that leisurely pace of an older movie that it's almost 2.5 hours. I think it's like 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Wow. I mean, it
This
goes
is like very rarely something that's under 90 minutes, over 90 minutes now.
unless it's a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
But and for a children's movie to be this long,
Yeah.
too, that's like that would never fly.
But I
today.
feel like movies on average were kind of this length back then.
yeah,
Movies were just longer.
Yeah. But I mean, I think just to like Disney as a studio kind of had this reputation for being innovators and, not just kids movies, but like on the forefront of all these effects.
The technology is really
technology
interesting.
and all that.
Yeah.
And the way they did the live action animation sequences.
And we have so many places nowadays to consume that. Like,
Oh, yeah.
from video games to everything, theme park rides. They didn't have that kind of. It was like you had to see it in the theater. Like if you wanted to see magic,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
that was the place to go. So
Yeah.
Or you better wait for the re-release in 8 years.
right,
Yeah, you weren't watching Mary Poppins on a 7-inch screen on a plane on the back of someone's seat.
I even remember the excitement when I was a little kid when like Wizard of Oz was coming on TV because
Oh,
it was like a big deal. My mom
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, it's on this week. We're gonna eat in front of the TV, and it's
Yeah.
gonna be like this whole thing." And whereas like now you can just watch whatever you want whenever you want.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I mean, I remember like when the Museum of Television and Radio first opened in LA, they had like little booths that you can go in, like listening stations at the Virgin Megastore, and you could like pick a movie or like pick a TV show and flip through the catalog and watch one episode and just sit there in this booth.
Yeah, they have that in New York for Broadway musicals. Like every Broadway musical has been recorded.
Oh, wow.
That's cool.
But you can only go in one at a time or two at a time and watch it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
at the library. Yeah, the New York
But like
Public
that,
Library.
but that was so innovative in the 90s.
So you
when they
can
did
pick
that.
any episode of Different Strokes and watch it.
And that was me thinking in my brain what I was going to do. And like, but nowadays it's literally like on demand is absolutely true, and it's at our fingertips. And yeah, does it make it less special? No, because we don't watch Mary Poppins.
Also,
every
the
day.
Disney Vault.
oh yeah,
Around the time of home video, of that you had to get that shit when it was out because
they locked it away.
Oh yeah, they
4 or
would put
5
stuff on
months later
moratorium.
they were
Moratorium,
gonna
MOR
pull that
at
shit
Blockbuster,
and put it in the Disney Vault from the
The
commercial.
Black Cauldron, anyone?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That was
Also-
lost forever.
I mean, the Black Cauldron they didn't want to talk about for a good 20 years.
It drove me nuts because I saw it in the theater and I was always like, I wanted to go back and see it again and never could.
yeah, they never did.
That
Now
little
we-
monster, he was so cute. He's like, Munchies and Crunchies are in there
Gurgi.
somewhere."
That's a very good.
What's his
Gurgi.
name?
Gurgi.
Gurgi.
Gurgi, yeah. I was
and,
like, oh.
and now we have Disney Plus, and it's all irrelevant now because it's all there.
It's all there.
Yeah, we were wondering when Disney Plus was coming out, like about the whole moratorium situation. Were they gonna, just put everything on? And they pretty much have. I mean, except Song of the South, but we don't even have to go.
Yeah.
She's canceled.
Yeah, she is absolutely canceled.
I love what they're doing with the ride, though. Like that they're turning it into
yeah.
Princess and the Frog. That's
Yeah.
such a
We're all
great
about
idea.
it.
Yeah, I think it's such a better and such a more relevant piece of material. Like
Right,
I didn't
right.
understand why they were making something of Song of the South when they did. I was like,
even in the 90s when they did, it was like, what?
Yeah.
What?
I was in high school and they you do night they do
Grad
grad
night,
night.
yep.
Yeah, so I did grad night and that's when I first got to experience it. And I was like, why? I don't even get it.
I love looking
Yeah.
up the promotional video that they did around the time it opened because did it open in 88?
Probably
89?
89, something like
And
that.
they did a
early
really
90s,
awesome promotional video that they probably did on the Disney Channel.
with a bunch of like ABC stars.
Yeah.
Love it. Mm-hmm. Very corny. Find it on
Hi,
YouTube.
I'm Nancy, your operator here at the Disney Channel.
I completely forgot about those, but yeah, it would fully be like PBS. Like, come buy this shit. Like, come buy our channel.
Yeah, you'd hear you'd see people working in the background, and she'd have the the earpiece. And,
Yeah, answering phones. Yeah. 80s.
Oh, you better hurry up.
We're running out.
Yeah, she's like they
We're
were
running out of
marketing
Disney Channel.
FOMO
We're running
before
out
it
of
was cool.
subscriptions, girl.
Impossible. Oh man. I mean, we could talk about 80s Disney Channel, 90s Disney Channel all day. MMC, anyone?
Oh,
I was a Mickey Mouse Club fiend. But all right. They spend fully 2/3 of the movie in the chalk drawing, which I'm fine with. But it's a lot of songs in a row.
oh yeah, it's banger after banger. Our
These
cats are running
acting
around.
the fool right now.
Oh yeah, banger after banger. So it starts with Jolly Holiday with Mary,
Yeah.
It's a jolly holiday.
very sweet song.
Mary. Yeah, it's a great song.
Yeah.
with Dick and Julie. Very sweet.
There's some Dick and Julie for sure.
Hello. I mean, of all the
Dick and Mary, though.
and Mary.
Dick and Mary, I mean, that's why we're gay. We figured it out.
I mean-
we got to
I
the
mean,
core of why Mary
also-
Poppins made us gay.
Those two were fucking right. Like they have a past.
Look,
Two
Dick and Mary's
good
have been going together since the early 1900s and beyond.
Come on. Their chemistry's too good.
Yeah, they had already had fucked. That's what I think had
Oh,
happened.
definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think that she just went, right off the dick, and then went away with an umbrella and never came. And he was like, "What the?"
Ghosted him.
He was like totally like with his O face on while she was flying away to the clouds.
With her little feet pointed in 2 different directions.
Yeah, that's it.
I don't know. Mary Poppins does seem a little uptight, but
She don't seem prude though.
No, that's true.
She doesn't seem prude. She's like, "Oh, Dick, you're such a charmer." Like she's like all into it.
She'll get down. Yeah. All right.
I mean, not to be weird about it, but like she has a sexual energy to her.
With Bert. Yeah. With Bert. She does.
It's there.
Absolutely. It's there. It is there. Yeah. And Bert, like, I think he absolutely is like
Ready to sweep her chimney.
Yeah.
Ready to wipe the cobwebs off that thing, love.
Oh my goodness. But what about no, okay. We won't get into Mary Poppins Returns.
No, let's keep going through the song cycle.
Yeah.
I'm loving this.
Okay, so
Jolly Holiday.
Jolly Holiday.
There's like the penguin like little dance number.
Yep.
Which is also cute.
Love the penguins.
Yeah, the penguin.
Are we just arbitrarily going through the song list?
Yeah, why not?
Step in time, step in time,
Oh,
step in
yeah.
time. Never need a reason, never need a rhyme. That's like never need a reason, step in time.
And that has all of the like
Chimney sweeps.
That's Step in Time. Okay, what is the one in the chalk drawing where all the people they're kind of at the races and there's a lot of background extras?
It turns
dancing,
into supercalifragilistic.
and they all have.
So they're at the horse race.
Yeah, they all have their little buttons.
That's a
on there.
dance break that turns into supercalifragilistic.
There you go. That's what we were trying to go through. Of all
And
the
now
songs
me
that
girls,
are
me
chalk
wife. Supercalifragilistic, expialidocious. Even though the sound of it
There-
is quite atrocious.
There is it's like a fashion style that all the
I have to finish it. If you say it loud enough, you're always some precocious. Supercalifragilistic, expialidocious. Thank you. Because I would have been umdelying like all day if I didn't get that out.
That's true. You got it. You got to get it out of your system once you start.
Oh, I was reading something interesting that I think one of the Sherman brothers mentioned when I was watching some of the bonus supplements on the Blu-ray, but a spoonful of sugar apparently
It's about meth.
it is not about meth, close, but a spoonful
Adderall.
of sugar was actually inspired by the polio vaccine when they would give it to children, that they would put a sugar cube on the spoon with it to make it go down a little easier.
They also
'cause
did that with the Green Devil.
Heyo. Yeah.
Absinthe.
But yeah, I guess it was just pretty gross that they had to put
Okay.
some sugar on it so kids would.
I mean, these
So kids
kids.
would take
This is around that time. They're probably
A robin feathering his nest has very little time to rest while gathering his bits of twine and twig.
That song is so fucking magical.
I
When
know.
you see that entire sequence cut together,
Yes.
because we get the old school movie effects.
Yeah.
A spring, it's really clear to see.
Julie singing the shit out of this vocals, and we were marveling at her wig last night. That we were trying to get
Honestly, I didn't even notice it was a wig till now. You ruined it for me.
we're
Like
trying
I'm gonna
to
have
notice,
to go back and now I'm gonna be like wig.
We were,
Like
we were
every
trying
scene.
to see like where if we could see like the
lines.
You know, every
like
now
the-
and then,
the
if
lines
when
with the
your-
lace.
when your face kind of you make
Oh, the
certain-
especially on HD
it
TVs.
kind of has a little like
yeah.
a
This
little
is like
wave
pre-lace
in
front.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, where they just glued it down to her head.
But her singing with that damn bird, which also Julie is doing the vocals of the damn bird.
Wow.
So she is duetting with herself in that scene.
Is that real?
Yeah, she does the
Okay.
vocals for the tweeting bird.
Uncredited.
Isn't it just whistling?
Yeah.
And she whistles it?
Yep.
Wow. Aren't there photos of her like with all these like a robot arm?
Oh, yeah.
Because, like that little teeny bird on her finger is like took like 10 people to operate.
But it's just such a cool blend
No, it
of
looks great.
all of these movie elements.
Yeah.
And that's the type of thing that Mary Poppins Returns was missing. It's just a scene that it's not that impressive.
Yeah, like we're used to all these crazy special effects, and you're just like, okay, it's just like special effects. And they made this whole big thing about the kid going down the bathtub, and it's like, and she disappeared in the bathtub. Okay.
That's one of the things that's so cool about the Muppets is that everything's always like a practical prop.
Yes.
Like the most recent Muppet Fairing I saw had a little bit of CGI, and I was a little bit like, no,
Yeah.
don't go there.
Yeah.
You know, because I think what's so great about it is like, how did they get them to ride on bicycles in the park? Like, you know,
Kermit
like
riding a bike is like, to this day. How the
It's-
fuck
I
did they do?
it's worth all of the acclaim
Yeah.
it's gotten online recently because I'm
Yeah.
like, it's so true. Like,
Yeah.
I appreciate that about it. So to have a little robotic bird on there. The whole thing about cardinals, by the way, have you heard about this Christmas cardinal thing?
No.
So cardinals are always on Christmas cards. You always see like a pair of cardinals everywhere.
Okay.
Only male cardinals are red. Like the women are orange.
Because they have to attract the mate.
Right, so they always show these gay cardinals on Christmas cards.
I never thought about that.
Yeah, so if you look at all these cardinals on Christmas cards, they're like making a nest, and they're like, it's all gay couples.
Oh, I love that.
You better work gay cardinals on Christmas.
Right?
That's funny.
Christmas cards that made us gay, your spin-off podcast.
I mean, there's plenty. That's funny. I love that. But yeah, you're right. There's something magical about practical effect. The very first shot of the Muppet movie is not the first shot of the Muppet movie, but Kermit is on a freaking log in the middle of a lake,
singing the Rainbow Connection,
and somebody's got his hand up that puppet. Like, where is the person?
And
or the rat with a great Muppets Take Manhattan
on the butter,
completely ice skating, and it's like sizzling.
Yeah.
Like there's just so many things that are like there's no like line where he's going through.
No, yeah.
It must have been like a magnet through actual butter, or who knows?
Who knows?
And does all of this just come from that both Walt Disney and Jim Henson were just that it's
the imagination.
We had to figure this shit out for Walt and Jim because they're not going to appreciate if we do not make this work.
I think that they wanted to see things that made them wonder.
Yeah,
you know, because they were really big thinkers.
Yeah,
and they wanted to see things that made them go, "How?"
Yeah,
because they knew that a 7-year-old would be dumbstruck.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. And you're right, Scott. Like the production people were just like, we got to make this work.
We got to figure this shit out.
This is a Disney production. This is a Jim Henson movie.
Not my problem. The rat's going to be dancing on butter. It's sizzling. I'll see you on Monday.
Figure it out.
Figure it out, bitches, or you're fired.
I like to think of
here's some acid.
I like to think of the two of them as like tyrants. Just like make it work, asshole. Your job's on the line. Like her umbrella handle, it's very like Tiki Room. But like
it's like a parrot head, right?
Yeah. And like even the bird too, it's like something that you would see like on a ride at Disneyland or somewhere.
Yeah.
It's like, we can still see it today, but even when you go to Disneyland today, you're just like, hey, that looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. And they sell the umbrella with the with that handle.
That's
and
cool.
it's still a really cool looking umbrella.
Yeah.
Like,
I'd still buy that.
Yeah.
The thing is, when you go to like Knott's Berry Farm, or you go to like...
Are you talking about how kind of weird the animatronics are?
Yes.
When you do the flume ride at Knott's?
You take for granted how good...
I've never been to Knott's Berry Farm.
You take for granted how good Disneyland is. You're just like, Disneyland, there's like
I don't
robot people.
Ever. Let me tell you something. When it comes to It's a Small World, like everyone's like, and cries about it. I'm like, if this was at the Lakma or at the MoMA,
yes,
we'd be like, it was kids from all over the world and they were moving.
Yeah.
But because it's like at a theme park, we have such high expectations. We want to be thrilled or something. I still see it as like an incredible art exhibition.
Absolutely.
That you can that's interactive, that you can like go through.
Yeah.
And you notice something different each time you ride it too.
Yeah. After all these years, you go to Six Flags, you go to Knott's, and their like animatronics are trash. Like it just looks like does not compare to Disneyland whatsoever. Yeah.
The thing Universal's been doing now, to go back from like out of the practical prop thing too, because I do really appreciate that about Disney World, but Universal's using a lot of like leveled screens.
Yeah.
And have projections on them, so it looks like there's a lot of depth.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
I
enjoy it. They have it on the Harry Potter rides, and they have it on some of the other rides where like you can kind of like there's like all this depth.
Yeah, and it changes, so it's not like one thing the entire ride. So
Yeah,
you're like how'd they do that? How'd they do that? Yeah,
that's also fun and whimsical. I guess it's like a modern way to take.
Watch is yelling at me.
It's like a modern way to take our technology where we're at now.
Yeah, totally. I do have to say, the new Snow White Scary Adventure, it's fucking cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I think I went on that. Yeah, it's like fast and I did go on that.
It's a little more of the movie's narrative when you're on it.
Well, I love a dark ride.
Yeah.
So that's like my favorite, more than a roller coaster or any of the other stuff.
Yeah, the dark rides are great.
And they really had like the giant gemstones, like when they were working, and really pretty kind of things.
Yeah.
I thought that was really fun.
They kept what worked, which is the witch turning around and being all scary.
Yeah, for like a
they
second.
Kept that in.
I read something interesting in some of my research that with the kind of connecting to the theme parks, the financial success of Mary Poppins helped the monorail system at Disney World get built.
Oh, wow.
Because they were developing Disney World as they were making the movie. I mean, that probably took a majority of the 60s.
Yeah.
And they sort of sealed the deal with the monorail with
Yeah.
the success.
Have you seen the animation
theatrical
building
run.
here?
Yeah.
The Disney animation building is held up by the Seven Dwarfs.
Yes.
Like the whole building is
Like
like on their
pillars.
hands.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
that built that.
That's also kind of dark.
But that's interesting because the monorail system in Disney World in Florida is like crazy extensive. It's like a real monorail. Like
It goes through hotels and
Yeah.
things, yeah.
yeah, like you need it to get from one place to the other because they're really far apart. Here, the monorail's for show. It goes off on like little loop-de-loops and does nothing because the park is. Not
I mean,
that
it
big.
it connects the hotel.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's named after Mary Poppins. I guess the system is called MAPO, M-A-P-O, the Mary Poppins. So,
Okay.
Interesting.
Okay.
I wonder if the trains themselves have names because sometimes trains don't they name trains? I don't know. That's cute though. I love that. And yeah, I think they were planned.
Their names and trains go mainly on the planes.
Don't trains have names?
I do want to mention, because I know we're getting close to the end here, but I do want to mention the Tuppence song. That's really a dark moment.
Yeah.
Very beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, we were just always as kids. We were like, "What are Tuppence?"
Yeah.
Is that like the British equivalent of a penny?
And what does she mean by Tuppence a bag? Like,
Yeah.
like was she, like she, I didn't understand she was selling the bird feed.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure it out. I'm like, what does she
Tuppence
mean?
a bag. What does it mean? Yeah, I think it's like 2 pence is what it means. So it's like 2
Okay.
pennies. I don't know.
I know
We're Americans.
I
We
know
have
that "Feed the
no
Birds"
culture.
was one of Walt's favorite songs that the Sherman Brothers ever wrote. He
Sure.
just often requests them just to play it.
And even Mary gets sad watching it. They're all like, "Look, just let's look at her, the houseless woman.
Yeah.
Like let's not
Take it
help
in,
her,
take it in, kids.
but let's watch this. This could be you if you
Yeah.
you don't listen."
Yeah, but it's so wild to go back and to watch it as an adult. And the thing about Mary Poppins is because it is so ubiquitous, we always remember it. We don't remember ever first seeing it. That we never really take the time to sit down and properly just view it.
Yeah.
Right. And so when we were viewing it to prepare for this episode, there's things like Mary singing "Tuppence a bag" to these children, and she's got the snow globe, and she spins the snow globe, and they see all this shit happening inside the snow globe. And then when Mr. Banks is taking them through town, the little boy, John?
Michael.
Jane,
Peter
and
Pan.
Michael,
Yeah,
Michael
Banks.
Banks.
Michael's like, "There she is." And he's like, "Yeah, whatever." And then she starts saying it, like, "Tuppence bag, feed the birds." And he's like, "She's saying it." And it's like, these children saw this. They had this like mystical vision as Mary was singing this song yesterday, and now they're seeing it. And Michael and Jane are just like, "Holy crap, what is going on?" Like it's so
sometimes
cool.
I wonder some of these movies, like where the kids are experiencing everything and the adults are clueless.
Yeah.
Like what it would be like to have a movie where then they're adults and have to do like almost like a Drop Dead Fred moment where
Sure.
they're like,
Well, don't they sort of build that into the
Returns.
into Returns?
do they?
Kind of,
With
yeah.
Ben Winshaw and Emily Mortimer?
Yeah.
That they've sort of become their parents and they have to kind of remember the magic of Mary Poppins.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. It's like adults, Jane and Michael, and Ben Whishaw is like, I don't see him as adult Michael, but yeah, I think that's part of it. But yeah, you're right. It's an interesting dynamic of what children
I
see.
think that's what's so appealing to kids when they see this movie is that the parents don't get it and they're like,
Yeah.
we get this.
Yes. Yeah, this is for us. Yeah. But yeah, sitting down and actually properly watching it, it's like you get things that like you just don't think about because it is such a part of our memories, but we just have memories of the big moments and the songs and all that. There are another dark moment is towards the end of the movie after Mr. Banks is like he gets sacked from the bank and then
All the bank scenes are very fascinating to revisit as an adult.
we never paid attention.
That you
as
never
kids.
paid attention
Also,
as
it
a
took
kid.
me
on.
a really long time to realize that the old man was also Dick Van
Van Dyke.
Dyke.
I love that scene because
I watched that for years
Yep.
before that
Yeah,
came
I
out.
I
don't
love
think I
that
ever
scene
knew.
with those child actors that they're looking at him, and I don't think that they told the kids that was Dick as the old man, and you can just see the expressions on their face of just what
like,
the
something's
fuck
wrong
is
here.
happening.
But Mr.
Is that Daddy Dick?
Mr. Banks kind of goes missing for a second after he has his little like breakdown, and the cop is at the house, And he's like on the phone, and he's like, "Oh, and did you look here? And did you look there?" And one of the cooks or one of the servants is like, "Oh, better drag the river.
Yeah.
Go to the bridge."
Oh shit.
Yeah.
This turned dark.
She's like, go. You
Men
better
have
drag the river under the
been
bridge.
known to jump off the bridge.
Yeah, and you're like, what?
I guess like bankers, like that's like
Yeah. I mean, if you lose everything, you just crazy. But it's like his children are right there. They are watching this.
But yeah, all the bank stuff is very interesting to go back and revisit now, just because. I mean, maybe Mr. Banks is a little older than I am, and I'm not working in finances. But yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, another thing, too, is that the children, the actors, were born in 55 and 56.
Yeah.
And, like, my mother was born in 55.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
so crazy when you imagine.
There are parents' generation.
Yeah, when you see children and you're like, that's my mother's age, that's my father's age. You don't imagine your parents as children. Right. And you see their contemporaries. Jane was in Mary Poppins Returns. She had I think they showed archival
And both
footage.
of those actors did a number of. They were just Disney contract players.
They were in the Gnome-mobile.
She was in. They were both in the Gnome-mobile together. I think that she was in the 3 Lives of Thomasina. I was reading that Haley Mills was considered as Jane, but she maybe have been a little too old.
Okay. Yeah, I think by 64 she would have been probably preteen. Michael died young, right?
Yeah, did you know about that?
no.
He died when he was like 21.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Of what?
He was in India and he got like malaria or something.
Yeah.
Oy.
Yeah. And then by the time he made it back to the UK, it had spread too far, so they weren't able to do anything. So he passed away at 21 in 1977.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's
they're
wild.
actually only a year apart.
Yeah.
Jane and Michael. She's so much taller than him. It looks like she's a couple years older, but they're only a year apart. But I do love that they did a couple movies together afterwards. I think they used to do that. Like if they had a good pair of kids, they would kind of like keep them together. Like Kim Richards and Witch Mountain. Didn't she work with that boy a lot? The Witch Mountain brother.
I think
Oh
so.
my God, Witch Mountain.
And usually, if you needed another sister,
The first time I saw Witch Mountain was when I was in first grade. They did a movie night at my elementary school, and that was like a big deal.
That's
to me.
cool.
That was like a big deal.
Yeah, that's
Paper
cool.
bags of popcorn.
Yeah.
It was like, wow.
And isn't Betty Davis in that?
that's
Or is that another
that's
one?
Watcher in the Woods
That's Watcher
with
in the
Kyle
Woods.
Richards.
Oh well, there you go.
Oh yeah, the Richards sisters worked the rounds in the 70s.
That's right. I remember. Yes.
Yeah, and Watcher in the Woods was scary.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
Disney movie,
Yeah.
very dark.
Okay.
Buena Vista or Disney?
Probably Buena Vista.
I mean,
Buena
Yeah.
Vista's when they started getting wild. They
Yeah.
did some like titty comedies.
I
Like Midnight Madness. Did you ever see that movie?
No.
Oh my God! Really? Okay.
Midnight Madness.
All right, this is just a little Easter egg for the
Yeah.
end of the podcast.
Tell us.
Midnight Madness is this movie about a scavenger hunt in the 80s all around L.A.
Okay.
And it's really fun. But I will say it is Michael J. Fox's first movie
Okay.
and Pee Wee Herman's first movie.
Oh, okay. Okay.
All right.
So it's worth watching just for those two. But it's fantastic, the movie.
When Michael J. Fox in 1980 probably
was a Buena Vista.
looked like a child. That's funny.
He did. He had his voice was changing.
well, we were just
It
watching
was-
an old.
And do you remember the Dr. Pepper guy?
Yes. Yeah.
He was in.
Dr.
He's the
Pepper,
lead
yeah.
of it. This movie.
Okay.
Oh, it's American Werewolf in London.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's David Naughton. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
David Naughton.
Oh, sure.
David Naughton plays Michael J. Fox's older brother,
Okay. All right. Interesting. I
who
wonder
cares
if
more about the scavenger hunt than he does his younger brother. But it's so good. It's really good. It's funny. It's campy.
Yeah, this poster's wild. This poster
Worth
looks like
watching.
And it's
This is a teen sex
and
comedy.
it's
Maybe you'll
Buena
have to
Vista?
have me back for that movie.
And it's Buena Vista.
We'll check it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was Buena Vista because I looked it up because I had like a dream of like remaking it one time, and I was like, it was like one of my like Hollywood like when I get older and I, and then when you know something's Disney like that, you can't touch it.
A boy uses a telescope to watch a woman undress to her underwear. I'm in
Yes.
the sex and nudity section in IMDb.
Yeah, yeah. They're at the planetarium, and he
Okay.
goes. I know he gets the coordinates, and he notices that it's a naked girl.
Oh my
so when he
God.
uses the coordinates to find out the clue, he puts it back on that coordinate so the other team, when they get distracted.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And it has Eddie Deason from
Yes,
Grease.
Eddie Deason's in it. Yeah. Who, by the way, is the only person I've ever been starstruck by.
No,
Who does he play in?
In Greece, he's Eugene. He's like, come on, guys, let's go.
He's from the Beatles.
And I want to hold your hand.
He's from I Want to
Yeah.
Hold Your Hand.
Yeah.
We love.
Whenever I would watch this movie, this or The Sound of Music, and my stepdad was in the room, he would always chime in, Julie Andrews showed her boobs in a movie. It was S.O.B. I just looked it up. Yep. And I was like, thanks, Don.
I didn't need to hear that.
Glad that I heard that.
What's the movie?
It's called S.O.B.
I don't know why I would have just assumed it was Victor Victoria. Like,
No.
I've been a lady all along.
The movie
They are.
that ruined her voice.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh.
Isn't that sad? She doesn't sing anymore.
Yeah.
I know. It was because of her Broadway production of that.
So
Okay.
it came from, she had to
Lower her register, and she got nodes,
Ah.
which are calluses on your vocal cords.
Sure.
And then when you have to have them removed, like in the surgery, it could damage your vocal cords and you lose notes.
And it did.
And it did, yeah.
Oh, that's and that was a while ago, wasn't it?
She
when
still
got
has
the
her
surgery?
voice, but not in the way that she could do 9 shows a week.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, also she's in her 80s.
Well, I'm talking. Well, we could even go back to
Yeah.
when she did that, which was like 30 years, 20 years ago.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, and like
yeah.
kind of that's. It was
Yeah,
like-
because it has been a while since that surgery
Yeah.
situation. Oh, that's too bad.
they had her sing a note at the Tonys, and she sounded great, and everybody
okay.
like gave her like
Okay.
a standing O. But it was
Just
kind of
sing a
like when they're
note.
like, "Liza, is your voice there?" And she's like, "Damn, damn, still got it, honey." It's like, yeah, baby.
Still got it. We went to Disney World about a year and a half ago, and we were watching a lot of just like fun old Disney World like footage, and they just had it was the 50th anniversary, and
Oh, we looked up the 20th anniversary?
So, no, the grand opening.
Oh, sure.
Of Disney World. She hosts it. There was a whole television
Oh, lovely.
spectacular on ABC, and Julie Andrews hosts
The original grand
the
opening.
grand opening of Walt Disney World,
And that
which
was in-
just celebrated its 50th.
72, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Its 50th anniversary. And so 50 years ago, she was a grown-ass famous adult.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
doing this thing. And she's still around. She's still beautiful. She's still
That's show
fucking
business,
Julie
kid.
Andrews. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That shit is
Practically perfect
mind-blowing
in every way.
I'm watching this shit and I'm like, she is marching down this Main Street, USA 50 years ago.
And
Some people don't even live that long.
And Julie Andrews, may I remind you, kind of that group of actors that won the Academy Award on their first movie role. I was
was it
looking
her
up
first
today.
movie?
I was
Okay.
looking up today the list of actors.
That was her first movie.
Wow,
It
I
was her
didn't know
first
that.
movie. I mean, she was
Wow.
she did My Fair Lady
On Broadway.
on stage, I think in the West End. She was doing Camelot, I think, when Disney went to it and offered her
Yeah.
the role. She was pregnant at the time, so they had to wait for her to
Have a
give
baby.
birth.
Oh, wow.
So he held the production, and I think if she would have been offered My Fair Lady, and if she would have taken it, I think Disney probably just would have held the entire production
For
to
her.
wait
Yeah.
for her to be finished with that movie.
If she
He
just
saw
had-
it. He saw it.
Yeah.
in her,
If she had just had a baby, not for nothing, but she has got like a snatched waist in
Yeah.
these
Yeah.
in these costumes. She's wearing a corset.
costumes. Dumb Bear Husband.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the
Blake
thing-
Edwards or her previous husband?
Probably previous because it's not Blake Edwards. It said something costumes
look it up.
furnished by like so and so. She was married before Blake Edwards because they've been married for a million years. Yeah, it's very interesting that this type of role wins.
Yeah.
Best Actress. This is it's a children's movie. It's a musical.
It's a family movie.
It's a family movie. Yeah, I'm just wondering if if Mary Poppins never existed and they made something like this today, is that going to?
Well, I think a lot of the narrative did help that she was passed over for My Fair Lady.
so there's a little
too.
bit of politics going on.
I
of,
think
like-
there was a little, we're going to vote for Julie.
Sure.
Because Jack Warner didn't cast her in My Fair Lady.
Yeah. Okay.
But then when you look at the category in retrospect, I think she was probably the biggest name
Yeah.
since she was in the highest grossing movie of the year. I was also looking at other actors that have won the Oscar in their first role. Barbara Streisand won for Funny Girl.
work.
Star making turns.
Star Making Turn.
Yeah.
Timothy Hutton, Ordinary People, I don't think had been in a major movie before that.
Yeah.
Anna Paquin for the piano. J. Hud for Dreamgirls,
Okay.
first movie role. Tatum O'Neal, Paper Moon, and Lupita Nyong'o for 12 Years a Slave. First
That was
movie.
her first movie.
Yep.
And she won the Oscar for that.
But yeah, very exclusive club.
Yeah. All right. Work, Julie Andrews. Has she doesn't have any other Oscars, Julie.
I think that she just has the
Yeah,
one.
just has
I
the
think
one.
she was nominated for.
the one, yeah.
I mean,
all she needs.
she followed this up with Sound of Music in
Yeah.
'65, which is wild.
Strong.
Yeah.
And also, Sound of Music.
It's
topped-
better. Yeah, it's better than doing Snow Dogs. You know,
Yeah,
a couple people made a couple mistakes
it
after.
was. I mean, she didn't quite have a Norbert.
Right, yeah, better than Norbert.
But yeah, and the
not
Sound
speaking
of
of
Music
Norbert in this house.
and the Sound of Music box office topped Mary Poppins. That's how big of a hit both of those movies
Oh wow.
were.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Sound of Music, or because Mary Poppins was.
I went to a sing-along Sound of Music.
Oh, I have drug Pete to that at the bowl.
And somebody was there dressed in a head-to-toe yellow suit. And I was like, what are you? And he goes, I'm Ray, a drop of golden sun. Duh. That was really genius.
Okay. Yeah, that's smart.
Yeah,
I
I have drug Pete to the Hollywood Bowl.
it was cute. I liked
See
it.
it.
I enjoyed myself. Yeah.
I mean,
And-
I don't think that you had seen Sound of Music in its entirety until you met me.
And also, when we do the two of us get up to some, you can bleep this out if you want. When the two of us get up to some gay faggotry out in Palm Springs, there is a video bar that plays show tunes, and when they
have you ever
do,
been to Quads?
I have not. I've
Yeah.
been to Palm Springs, but usually I rent like a house.
Yeah.
I very rarely go out there. But
Sure, yeah.
But I've been dying to. I want to.
In like the main neighborhood and like the main strip,
Sure.
there's all the bars in a row, and one of them is a video bar, and they play show tunes. And
I love that.
Yeah, it's
That's-
great,
that's
and there's
vibes.
sing-alongs and all of that. And when they do, which song is it?
They do Do Re Mi.
It's Do Re Mi.
Yeah.
Yeah, when they do Do Re Mi, it like pops off, like the roof blows off, like Moulin Rouge style. All of our top hats are like flying through the air. Yeah, it's kind of amazing. But Julie's career is like, I mean, she's kind of untouchable as like, you know, like she's just like,
I mean, I feel like
can't really shit on
she
her.
did a
She's-
movie like Princess Diaries as just a whim. Like, sure, Gary
Yeah.
Marshall. Like, I owe you a favor.
Yeah,
I'll be
yeah.
in this movie.
yeah. And so is like beloved by like every generation now.
I like the Victor Victoria movie a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
It is good. Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's got like a great gay storyline in it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Been wanting to get to it on the show.
yeah. It's a good one.
Yeah. We'll cover it.
And Leslie Ann Warren,
Oh, yeah.
who I absolutely love,
Yeah.
who I know.
Oh, lovely.
She played my mom in a Funny or Die sketch.
Oh, that's cute. Yeah, we're about to do Clue next week,
Oh,
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
that movie.
It's
as
gonna be your
well.
Thanksgiving weekend episode.
and we love Cinderella. So Leslie.
Oh, yeah.
Leslie Ann Warren's amazing. But yeah, Julie's kind of like untouchable as like a personality, and so is Dick Van Dyke.
Both icons.
Like they're both these icons, and they both have these reputations of just like they're just really well liked. They're just really great people, which is kind of interesting and just another little like something else that just makes this movie so charming.
Yeah.
You know, there's no ride at Disneyland. There's no Mary Poppins ride.
kind of surprised
Yeah.
that they didn't ever do a ride of this.
Or a restaurant or something.
I mean, there's Jolly Holiday.
It's called Jolly
Oh,
Holiday, but
okay.
it's not really themed.
Well, it's just-
But I mean,
like-
it could be a little
Yeah.
more Rainforest Cafe.
Yeah.
But I feel like
that's
Jolly
what-
Holiday's
I agree.
look is very the animated sequence when they go
Yeah.
to the restaurant with the penguins.
Yeah, it's just like,
It is that. It's the vibe.
Yeah, the vibe is that, but it's not. Otherwise, it's not. I think all the waiters should be in penguin suits, full penguin costumes.
They're listening right now, just cringing, like, shut up. It's bad enough I can't have a second piercing.
Yeah, we did. We got a picture with a Mary Poppins in Disney World at Epcot
Yeah.
in the England Pavilion.
But it was kind of the post-COVID when they would just stand on a hill.
Yeah, they would have to be like behind you, and you just get a selfie, and they're like waving hi. But let me tell you this: our Jack Sparrow is looking directly in the camera in all of our photos.
Oh, yeah, he is.
Yeah,
Mhm.
he was good. Because sometimes there's multiple people. They're so far back that multiple
Yeah.
people can be taking selfies with them.
Do you know who I'm like a huge fan of right now? Is the Christmas Grinch at Universal.
Oh,
Have you watched
and
those
if you
tapes, those
bring
YouTubes?
and if you bring him an onion,
Yeah,
They're
it's
sassy,
so
right?
cute.
Yeah.
I'm like, whoever that guy is, he needs a raise.
Yeah,
He's so
yeah.
good. I watched all the YouTubes of him meeting people.
Yeah,
He was cracking me up.
Universal face characters are kind of amazing.
The Beetlejuice is kind of scary.
The Beetlejuice is scary, but they have a little section that's like Brooklyn brownstones, and they have like two ladies hanging out of the windows.
Oh, I
just,
love
like,
those
talking
ladies.
shit. Yeah.
I mean, I do my Italian mom character.
Yeah.
I could be one of those.
I know.
Just like Harold's is coming over last week.
I feel like one of them is in drag too.
I
One of them's a
honestly,
guy.
I wish I could go back to my 20s and take that gig. Like, I should have been doing that instead of like being a bouncer or whatever.
Right.
Like, totally ruining sleep deprivation.
Yeah,
Could have had free Universal tickets.
See, yeah.
I needed somebody to guide me.
Well, the hindsight is 2020.
Yeah, I do know. Also, Universal had that complicated Bill and Ted's show that was very homophobic.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like the whole point was like they were calling each other like, I don't know if they were saying like fag or whatever, but they were like calling each other things like that. No. And then like the whole joke was that they were like the devil liked it up the butt, and it was just like all these jokes, and like they just never rewrote it.
Yeah.
The actual. I was really excited about the new Bill and Ted that came out, and I went back and watched the original Bill and Ted.
They say fag.
They say fag, like right away, and
after they hug each other.
So that energy was carried onto, I guess, the stage show that was just randomly wildly popular. Sure, kind of like Waterworld. That the movie sucks, but the ride is great.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So it's like they were doing the Bill and Ted's show forever, and finally somebody was like, "Wait a minute," and filmed it, and it was like a big scandal how gay it was.
We have to find. Is it?
And
on
I was
YouTube?
like, let me rewrite it. I would like that. They should have a gay person rewrite it. Don't get rid of it. Yeah. It's a great show. But instead they just canned it. They just totally canned the whole thing.
We were just talking about doing a Bill and Ted episode, and it would be an interesting time to sort of unpack a lot of that.
Because we love Keanu and we love Alex Winter.
Both of them are actually, I've met both of them. They're amazing folks.
Yeah.
Like you can't fault people for what was on the air all those years ago.
Yeah.
But it is kind of like jarring, and I'm like, it's so crazy that I watched this movie so many times. Same thing with watching Eddie Murphy stand up.
Sure.
And how homophobic some of that is.
Delirious.
And how
is pretty...
and how literally it was completely oblivious to me. I didn't carry memories of that stuff to me, but it goes in you.
Yeah.
That's where maybe your internalized homophobia comes from growing up, because it's all there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I mean that was very interesting to me, because both of those things I watched, I can't even count how many times, and did not remember either of those moments.
Delirious? Is that
But Delirious I watched over and over and over and over and over again. Didn't remember that stuff.
Yeah.
And then the same thing with Bill and Ted. It was one of the VHS tapes I had, and it was like, but who knows how many times I heard that. And
I had a Bill and Ted poster.
How that contributed, to my darker coming out, because I had a rough coming out. But it was like, so, and I was wondering, I was consuming so much television and so much movies.
Right.
That was like my babysitter, my best friend.
Yeah.
And maybe even like my lover.
Secret lover.
My secret scrambled Spice Channel lover.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we have thoughts about like Monster Squad.
Yeah.
That's this beloved
I watched that
movie.
too. There was stuff in that too.
And there's so much like homophobia in Monster Squad. Like it's pretty bad.
Fascinating.
But, it's just one of those things that it's like, it was a time, but can we forget? I don't know. It's complicated. But Mary Poppins is not controversial.
No.
There's only one line
Julie.
there's only one line of the captain that made us raise our eyebrow a little bit.
Oh, he asks if they're being attacked by Hottentots, which is
And it's like, oh, what old racist military term is that for?
It's like a South African racist term.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The Hottentots is like how they would refer to the tribal people of South Africa.
It's a deep dive.
Yeah. It's a real deep dive.
I mean, maybe it's not for Brits. I don't know, but for us, it's like
and this is a period movie, so it's taking place in 1910. So it's like this guy is this really old captain. So whatever, he probably was majorly racist, but other than that, Mary Poppins not at all controversial.
Yeah.
I think Mary Poppins Returns is kind of its own thing. I will say, sitting in the movie, we saw Mary Poppins Returns in the theater. And
I think we saw it on Christmas.
We did. We saw it on Christmas Day with my sister. There's a shot. It's the big wide shot, and the little teeny Mary silhouette on the umbrella is coming through London. And that, I was just like... Because it's Mary Poppins. I was like, that's it. It was the shot from the beginning of this movie. And to me, seeing it on screen in a new movie after all these years, I was just
definitely need to check out the musical, because it has a lot of the whimsy. It's pretty great.
And that's Macintosh, right?
Yeah.
Did Les Mis?
I believe, Cameron McIntosh was the producer of that.
And I think that he had to because I think P.L. Travers was still alive when he was adapting it, so he even had to get her permission.
Oh, wow.
For all
It's
of
a
that.
little different than the movie, obviously. You know,
Sure.
there's
Yeah.
like Dancing with Penguins or whatever. But there's
Yeah.
there's some things in there that you're like, oh, that's how they do. And there's a lot of the whimsy and magic. I enjoyed it a lot.
Okay, cool. We'll look out for that.
Yeah.
Mary Poppins Returns obviously is on Disney Plus, right?
They're both on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of course.
I think that what the hell's her name?
Julie Andrews.
No, Mary Poppins Returns.
Emily Blunt.
Emily Blunt.
Yeah.
I think she did. She did as good of a job as
Hard
you could do.
act to follow.
Yeah, it's a tough act to follow. Thankfully, they gave her own look. That they weren't just like so slavish to like the mini pearl hat with like the flowers in it and everything.
I wouldn't have been mad if they went that way.
Yeah. So they gave her own thing. She was kind of her own newish Mary Poppins. It's fine.
Did the movie sort of get lost into obscurity?
Yeah.
Post-pandemic, maybe.
Yeah. But it's there. I think I would say definitely if you've never seen any Mary Poppins, how? First of all, where have you been? What are you doing?
are you?
Who are you?
Are you?
Just go to Disney Plus and watch Mary Poppins. The
Yeah.
first one. You can watch Returns if you want. We're not going to sway you in either direction.
My niece is 10. It's always fun to be like, have you seen this? Have you seen that?
Yeah,
Have you seen
right?
this?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of good stuff that I've been showing her lately.
Yeah.
She just got into Little Shop.
Oh, great. Okay. You have to start them young too, because
Yeah.
if they get to a certain age, then they just get that whole like, this looks old.
Yeah.
This looks old. What is this?
I didn't get into Little Shop of Horrors until very recently, until we started doing the podcast. I did not grow up on it.
I
Oh.
showed it to him. Yeah.
I have to actually fight my niece sometimes. She's like, I don't want to. I'm like, have I ever shown you a movie that wasn't awesome? She's like, actually, no. And I'm like, will you watch
Well, there
this?
you
She's
go.
like, oh,
There you
okay. That's like really like, because I'm like literally like
Yeah.
20 for 20 or whatever. Like whatever I've
Good.
showed her has been like the ultimate classics.
Good. I love that.
Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah.
Hey, this
has
is
been
really fun.
I mean, we are
Fun.
sitting on the same couch as Celebrity Drag Race.
I'm
Superstar.
Donna
we watched all of it.
Yes, we did.
You
We
did a really
watched
good
it.
job, too.
Yeah.
Thank you. It was weird, and very hard, but I loved it. I would do it again in a minute if they called me. I hope they
Good.
have an All-Stars one
I
day.
mean,
Right? They have
I think
to.
that I said to Pete that I could see Donna being dropped into a lineup at Dreamgirls or
I could-
Precinct, and I
they
would
beg
never,
me-
I would never think twice about
They
it.
could beg me, and
Yeah.
I could do it if I want to, but it's just like, I don't know if I have an energy to start
It's a
a
lot of
whole new
work.
career.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
It literally, like, stand-up was really, like, I've been doing stand-up now, like, 8 years. Like, that was, like, a whole new thing, and, like, and now I'm doing this play of my character, Italian Mom Loves You. So it's just, like, so much to do. I wish I
Yeah.
had two of me, and Donna would maybe exist. But I always say, like, if the check is high enough and the heels are low enough, Donna will be there. Donna will be there.
Put on the
love
wig.
it.
I mean, I'll say it here. Even doesn't matter. But I'm gonna try to like angle for being the fashion photo review girl
Okay.
for Celebrity Drag Race next season because they don't have one.
Oh,
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
So and since I'm such good friends with everyone over there, and I've done stuff with them, and
Yeah.
me and my mom even have a Wow Present show.
Nice.
Like, so it's kind of like I'm hoping to maybe do that.
Yeah.
So maybe Donna will be able to come back and
And a pit stop.
yeah, I'll do a pit stop.
Yeah, that'd
Yeah.
be great.
I mean, ask for it. Tweet them. That's the fans that
Yeah.
have to ask. So
That's true. Yeah.
If you guys want Donna to live on, then just bring it up.
Cute. Okay, we love that. What do you have anything coming up that you can plug?
Well, I am working on my play right now. It's called Italian Mom Loves You. It's written by me and Jacques Lamar. Jacques writes all of Varla Jean Merman's shows.
great.
Okay.
And I'm working with the director Michael Shirali of Varla Jean and Coco Peru and Jackie Hoffman shows. And it's so funny. It's so good. It's based off of my Italian mom character.
Yeah.
And Jacques approached me and was like, how do we adapt it for the stage? So we've made a full-length narrative play, and it's really fun, and it's going to be in Boca Raton, Florida.
Okay.
The
it.
character dreams of going to Boca, so
Yeah.
it was a logical next step for it. We did it in Waterbury, Connecticut, which is a very Italian neighborhood, just to kind of like get it up on its feet, and
Sure.
it smashed. We had people driving from 6 hours away. We had
Oh,
people
great.
tailgating.
Yeah.
It was really fun. So I'm like, okay, now we're bringing it to Boca December 4th through the 11th. Then it'll go other places beyond then. You could follow facebook.com/ItalianMomSays to find out where it's coming when it's coming to you. And so that's that for now. And I have a bunch of other stand-up dates that are going to be on the dock. But I'm looking forward to taking my holiday season off. After the play, after the 11th, I am off for
nice.
that is like an unheard of word.
Yeah.
I flew in 2 days ago and I leave tomorrow morning for more stand-up. So I'm always in and out of the road, and so it's going to be nice to just be in one place. I'm sure I'll be writing or doing something. Like I can't stop. Can't stop, won't stop.
Great.
But,
Thanks for fitting us in.
Yeah.
Oh, this is
so
such a pleasure. This is the
Mm-hmm.
kind of stuff I love doing, and so when you asked me, I was thrilled, and so thank you.
We have done Mean Girls on the show.
Oh yeah,
And also one of the highest rated episodes that we've had.
It's in our top 10.
It's
we
in-
can't
been
help
our
it
top
if we're
10.
popular. People like us.
172 episodes, 173 episodes.
It's always in the top 3 downloads.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah. So thank you for coming on. We'd love to have you on again in the future if you ever have time.
Yeah,
in your
just
queue
let me know.
schedule.
Ask me. I'm in. I love this. This is really fun for me.
Alrighty. But until then, we bid you adieu. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You can
Bye.
okay.
Oh, go ahead.
I just want to say.
Yeah, bye.
I just want to say you can follow me.
Yes, I will say that too.
On Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr, blackpeoplemeet.com, JDate, Farmers Only, and Venmo at What's Up Danny.
Love it.
Love it.
Thank you.
I love that it's one handle across everything.
Across the board,
That's the best way to do
Snapchat,
it.
TikTok, whatever you need.
Best way to do it. Thank you
Except Be Real. Someone took my name, so I have to be What's Up Dan.
Oh, come on.
Oh, come
Damn
on.
it.
Do you think it's another
Stupid
Daniel
Be Real.
Franzese?
They know what they're doing now. They're hip to what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So I have to be like their day one at all the different ones to try to get my name. But
Fuckers. Wherever we go after Twitter tanks.
yeah. Oh my God, it's a mess up there. I feel like it's a substitute teacher and who's totally been beaten down already. That's taking over.
Absolutely that.
We'll see what happens.
Oh my goodness. Alrighty. Well, thank you so much for coming on. We'll let you go.
All right, bye.
Bye. Okay.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for listening, everybody.
Thanks so much.
Thanks to Daniel Franzese. What a great guest.
Mm-hmm.
That was really funny. We're glad you guys are listening. I think it's time
For Patreon shout-outs.
Patreon shout-outs.
Let's hear 'em.
Yes, indeed. All right. Well, we would love to say hello and thank you to all of our wonderful patrons, including new patron Lisa, Alexis G, Thomas, Mark, Jackson, Millie, Darcy, Ted, Benny, Jermel, Melanie, Christopher, Susan, JJ, Shelby, Michael, Muffy, Paul, Jamie, Drew, Genevieve, Dawn, Joshua, Emma, Melly, Aaron, Melinda, and Jim, Jessica, Nick, and Shannon, Christina, and finally Ravino. Oh, here it is.
Thank you for being a friend.
Thanks so much.
Guys. Yeah, head over to patreon.com/movies that made us gay for all of our supplemental features. If you are a new patron and you need some newsletters, let me know. I will go through today and
We're going to be working on
Send
our
out some-
newsletter for November.
yeah, we'll send you links
It'll
to
be
all
out
the
around Thanksgiving.
Yes, we'll send you links to all the previous newsletters so that you can take a look at everything that we've written up until now. You can read our hilarious, what was I trying to say? Bylines, commentaries,
Yeah.
articles. There's great stuff in there.
And you'll also get access to the bonus episode of the month, which is our Watch With Us commentaries, where
indeed.
you can watch along with us as we watch something on streaming or just listen in your car by yourself. You can do either.
Yeah, they're fun as just a regular bonus episode, but they're really fun when you sync it up with the movie and you get to hear our commentary as the movie's playing with you. So that's super fun. So thank you so much, patrons. All of your donations go directly to keeping the show up and running, ad-free, and available to you everywhere you listen to podcasts. We'd also love it if you would like and subscribe and give us
5 stars. Write us some kind words.
Yes, indeed. Go over to Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and you can give us a 5-star rating. And on Apple Podcasts, you can also write us a review. And any new reviews will be read here on the show in this post-episode segment. So, yeah, those are a lot of fun, and they're free and they're easy. So head over there and do that. You can follow us on socials. We're at Movies That Made Us Gay on Instagram and on Facebook.
And on Twitter, MTMUGpod.
Yes, indeed. If you want to follow our personals, feel free. My name's Pete. I'm at Peter Lasagna on Instagram and Twitter.
Scott Youngballer on Instagram, and follow my letterbox.
Yes, indeed. Thank you so much, everybody. We will be back next week with another fresh episode.
Oh, it's our Black Friday episode next week.
Oh,
We always have an episode on Black Friday, so it's our very special Thanksgiving weekend episode.
Cool. Alrighty. Well, listen to that one coming up soon. Until then, bye guys.
Bye.